¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify, spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
This episode is brought to you by Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has movies. So many movies. The movies you've seen 1,000 times and could watch 1,000 more. Iconic movies your friends can't believe you haven't seen. New movies, classic movies, new takes on classic movies. So whether you're into Top Gun or The Naked Gun, Mean Girls or Mission Impossible, Smurfs or Sonic the Hedgehog, there's a mountain of movies to discover on Paramount Plus. Start streaming today.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana makes car selling fast and easy from start to finish. Enter your license plate or VIN and get a real offer in seconds, down to the penny. If you accept, Carvana will come pick up your car from your driveway. Or you can drop it off at one of our car vending machines. Either way, you get paid instantly. It's fast, transparent, and 100% online. Car selling that saves your time. That's Carvana.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel. It's time to delve into the worlds of the covert, the mysterious, those who sneak into places where no one else dares go. We're talking about spy movies, and here to spy a few movies of her own, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
I spy with my little eye.
A movie that begins with...
Well, I can't, spoilers.
Can't give it away, right?
Like, spoilers are one thing, but right in the opening of the show? Come on, man.
I know. I got
Be
excited.
Cool.
I got excited.
Be cool. That's not cool.
Oh, taboo. All right. So, of course, we in the past, we have talked about, cop movies and detective movies. Now we're talking spy films. So when you were compiling your list, did you find it difficult to steer away from those past episodes and the confines of those movies?
I did. I found this assignment extraordinarily difficult because for me, it was hard to differentiate between a spy and a detective, or undercover, or more like assassins or like hired guns. Like, I really had a challenge with that.
Covert operatives. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Right. I'm like, so if they're spying, like, because there was one movie, I can't even remember which one it was now. And it was like, oh, I know the movie. I can't actually talk about it. Well, I can. I was thinking Mr. Right.
Okay.
Because the whole concept is this hitman is hired to like collect data.
He's a contract killer.
He's a contract killer, and then he kills somebody, but he turned it on the woman who hired him to kill her husband because he found out that she's the cheating bitch that deserved to die.
Fair.
So,
But that would fall under contract killer or assassin, if you will. So I know when I was looking for my movies, like the way I kind of help differentiate it for myself, right? So a detective would work for the police at that level, almost like the city or maybe even the state level, right? But not necessarily a federal government organization. Then you had contract killers. Of course, they would be almost like kind of like the Expendables. They're not actually part of any government. They're just guns for hire.
They're doing a job, right?
Well, exactly.
The contractor, whoever is setting the contract, is their boss, is their higher power. So
yeah. So I was looking more for government agencies that would send people in as operatives. So they're working for some kind of, alphabet kind of organization, whether it be the CIA or, go back to the 80s films, the KGB or whatever case may be. I was looking at people hired by a government agency to work the spy game for them.
Or what about like in a case where they're not necessarily hired to kill or become assassin, but they're collecting
That would be
evidence,
a spy.
right? So,
Well, it depends on collecting evidence, right? Because then you kind of fall more into the detective kind of genre because you're working with the cops unless the CIA is on the case. You could go a lot of different directions or make arguments for a bunch of different films based on this. So I'll be very, very curious the movies that you picked. And dear listeners, I'd be curious what movies you would pick. So feel free to hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com and let us know what spy movies you would have picked. But now we hand it over to Carrie. Carrie, what is your keep spy flick?
I am keeping Confessions of a Dangerous Mind.
I need to almost like pull out the piece of paper that I could have written this on.
Right, from the messed up mind of Chuck Barris, who believed that he was a CIA operative. Whether he was or he wasn't, we'll never know the truth. And yeah, and like he was everything from a CIA spy to a hired assassin to a talk gong show host, you know, to a recluse, to a writer. You know, Chuck Barris, man, he's done it all. But this movie, I love.
Well, the fact that you also had George Clooney as kind of his touch point with the CIA, there's a scene in this film. And by the way, he killed directing this film, George Clooney did. But there's this scene where Chuck Barris returns home and there's George Clooney's character sitting on the diving board of the pool and you can see the blood dripping down. And it's just this dark, somber moment. I'm just like, it was so well paced and so well directed. And by the way, if you have the DVD or Blu-ray copy of this disc, I highly recommend watching the behind the scenes making of this movie because it's fascinating some of the set work that they did in doing some of these scenes.
Oh my God, I absolutely loved it. I mean, it's got to be challenging they literally like took it back to make it look like the 70s filming of the Gong Show, you know, stylistically. But then as they started to get into his future or his elder years, right, where they aged him, it was like, wow.
But it feels too like they were picking film stock or color grade to almost identify kind of like the different scenes and the different moods and the different eras.
And the eras, exactly. Like as, you know, everything shifts into this vibrant Technicolor.
But also to Julia Roberts.
Well, exactly.
You want to talk about someone who just slinks in that role. Like it's the only way I can put it. Like she just slinks in that role.
Oh, she was playing.
So
she was
good.
having so much fun. You could tell.
Oh, exactly. Because
the chemistry, though,
you weren't quite sure whose side she was on. It was such a good chess match.
Absolutely loved it.
All right, I'm going with a film that I don't think you would have called for being on my list. I'm going with, and listen to this cast here: Al Pacino, Colin Farrell, and Bridget Moynihan. I'm going with The Recruit. Now, it focuses on Colin Farrell's character, James, who was enrolled into the CIA training program, but then he kind of flunks out. This is after he found a connection with Bridget Moynihan. But then he gets picked up by Al Pacino to suss out Bridget Moynihan's character because it's suspected that she's a sleeper agent for a different organization. So you have up and coming potential spies who are spying on each other in a very cat and mouse kind of game. And there's a lot of twists and turns in this film. It might be one of my favorite Colin Farrell films. It's up there for Al Pacino, I know for me, but I mean, it's hard to beat Heat, right? It's hard to beat some of his other films, but this is such a good think piece film. Like you are constantly guessing and re-guessing as to motivations of different characters. For my watch film, I'm going with a fun comedy. And you can't really have enough fun. And you got Bill Murray as a fish out of water character. I'm going with The Man Who Knew Too Little.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
It was fun. I did not expect that. I literally thought you were going another direction.
No.
So I'll go that direction. That's fine.
You'll go that direction. That's okay. No. The Man Who Knew Too Little. This is such a fun piece. So Bill Murray plays this guy who, kind of lives kind of a doldrum kind of life. And then his friends get him this birthday gift where he's, supposed to go to this place. And it's like one of those like interactive games, right? So you have actors who take you through this storyline where he's a spy kind of thing. And it turns out he ends up in the middle of an actual spy adventure, not the actors in question. And it's the kind of comedy.
Real murder? Like someone was.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Someone was killed and he's playing it off like.
He's playing it off like it's just actors in a game. Yeah. But it's the kind of movie that actually fits Bill Murray to a T. Like just kind of like that naivete comedy. You know what? That was an excellent choice, actually. Not what I thought you were going to pick, but an excellent choice. I actually forgot. I totally forgot about that one. But you know what the funny thing is? I feel like I need to pull out the whiteboard at this point. So The Recruit, my keep pick, actually sits at a 44% score. So it qualifies. There is zero reason whatsoever why that film should qualify. But The Man Who Knew Too Little sits at a 38% tomatometer. So apparently I like bad movies. So I guess I'm in the right place.
Yeah, you made a podcast based on that.
Yeah, if I didn't like bad movies, I'm going to say quote unquote bad movies because there's nothing bad about The Recruit or The Man Who Knew Too Little. But can you imagine talking about for 4 years about things you didn't like? They're
not bad. They're misunderstood. I think it's funny that when I want to actually watch a good movie, I have to kind of talk you into it. I'm like, I want to watch this movie, but it was rated 98%. So maybe we can pencil it in between,
You know what's funny? Because whenever I tell people that we have a bad movie podcast and like, oh, well, what's your favorite film? I'm like, well, it's kind of hard to determine because I apparently only watch bad movies, right? Or what's the best film of all time? Like you expect me to watch, or someone will point at a movie and I'll be like, oh, I haven't seen that film. They're like, what do you mean you haven't seen this film? It's a classic. I'm like, yeah, but it's a good movie. I don't watch good movies.
It doesn't qualify, so I can't watch it.
I don't have time to watch good movies. I only have time for bad movies.
Priorities, man.
Apparently priorities.
Hey there. Try to remember this because I think you're going to need it. QUINCE.com/Pantheon. I'll remind you again in a minute. Okay, with these cold mornings and holiday plans just around the corner, I want my wardrobe to be simple and sharp. I was just pulling out my winter clothes, and right at the front were my Quince cashmere sweaters. Now look, I've been a huge fan for years. They just feel incredible, and they really hold up well. Honestly, seeing them all laid out made me realize I need to grab a few more to get me through this winter. That's the best part about Quince. Their staples are an amazing value, like their famous $50 Mongolian cashmere sweaters that just feel like an everyday luxury. They deliver this quality by partnering directly with ethical factories, cutting out the middlemen. So you get premium quality at half the cost of other high-end brands. My Quince cashmere is definitely what I'm reaching for most this season. Give and get holiday staples that last this season and beyond with Quince. Go to quince.com/Pantheon for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/Pantheon. Free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Pantheon.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers. We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
All right. So you were stumped by my Bill Murray pick. Is Bill Murray in your watch film?
Yeah, you failed. You failed me by not picking I'm dead sexy. Get in my belly. Austin Powers, the spy who shagged me, baby.
What does that have to do with Bill Murray?
No, but I honestly thought you were talking about going with a comedy.
Fair.
And then you started talking about Bill Murray. I'm like, come on, Austin Powers.
Okay, so I'm going to toss this to you then. So you can only watch one of the three, right? The first one, International Man of Mystery. The second one, The Spy Who Shagged Me. Or the third one, Goldmember.
The Spy Who Shagged Me.
It really is the best one.
It is. You know what? Honestly, the first one had its place because it set the scene. The second one, they absolutely hit home. They should have kept it at 2.
Mm-hmm.
But then, they decided to ride the coattails and come out with, Beyonce was really the best part of the third movie, but it wasn't necessary. It was kind of like, we have this great success. Let's beat it with a stick and try to have another go at it. And it's like, no. Like, really? Leave it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because usually it's the second movie that's kind of, they shouldn't have done this. But I think, I don't know, the first one was okay.
It was good for what it was, yeah.
The second one had the laughs. It had the mole.
mole.
Come on.
Really, I think one of the best things about that film is Heather Graham. She's so good in The Spy Who Shagged Me. But I think part of it is the fact that at this point, Austin Powers has lost his mojo, right?
You're going with Heather Graham. I would go with like Mike Myers and his mini-me. I would go with Dr. Evil.
No, but think about it though. You had that point where obviously in the first film, Austin Powers is muy macho, right? And cast alongside Elizabeth Hurley in that, where Elizabeth Hurley is a bit more reserved. That balance worked well here when he lost his mojo, and you have Heather Graham's character as Felicity Shagwell, who basically patterned her entire career after Austin Powers, and she is way more Randy than he could possibly be because he has no mojo. That swap of the dynamic, I think, works better.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. It was far more enjoyable to watch than the first.
But then we get to our past picks. So, Carrie, what'd you go with?
Yeah, I have to utter a disclaimer right now that I am so sorry, dear ScarJo. I absolutely love you as Black Widow, but the Black Widow movie maybe didn't need to happen. And I really, really do love, like the Thunderbolts and come on.
The Pew.
Come on. Yelena Belova and Red Guardian. I'm on the box.
Okay, but...
Okay, I just turned Scottish there.
You did. Is he working for the Scottish
I'm on
Secret
the
Service?
Woo.
Is David Tennant now playing the Red Guardian?
Oh, that would be fascinating, wouldn't it?
Oh, dear God, yes, it would.
That would be so good.
But I think the problem with the Thunderbolts is that, and it is a good movie, but you have to sit there after a while and go, I don't know if I'm feeling okay. I don't know if anyone's okay in this movie.
Yeah, but you know what? I loved that it showed such emotion. Like, okay, the Thunderbolts absolutely loved because it brought you on that emotional journey. Black Widow, to me, it just felt like a search movie or like a journey movie. Kind of.
I think you're looking at Black Widow from an incorrect point of view. This is not a Black Widow movie. This isn't a Scarlett Johansson movie. This movie's entire raison d'etre is to introduce Yelena Belova to the MCU. And I think if you take a look at this movie from that aspect, I think that movie did the job that it needed to do. Now, if you were looking for a Black Widow film, the biggest complaint about this movie is that it happened way too late. Black Widow should have had a film of her own somewhere in phase 2 or phase 3.
But it was long and it was just not that interesting. I mean, sure, it showed the dynamic between the two ladies, you know, like kind of a bit of their backstory, obviously. But I mean, you could quite argue that the introduction for Yelena Belova would have been fantastic if they had just left it in the Hawkeye series.
But you can't introduce Yelena Belova without going back to the Red Room. I think you needed to explore it through the lens of a Black Widow film. I mean, really, it is a Yelena Belova movie. It absolutely is, and it should be viewed that way. And yes, Scarlett Johansson should have had a Black Widow film well before this. I think it's just the timing of it, right? Because, and I appreciate, I feel bad for them, because we had all these trailers come out and we were all set to go. And then the pandemic hit and we had to wait forever for this film.
And nobody was going to the theaters. So look, I get that. And I was looking forward to it. I was in that camp where I was like, oh, we've been waiting. It's about time it's released. And then I kind of watched it and I was like, oh, well, that could have been better. I think maybe what it is at the core, I love that they throw in some humor. But in this, it was such a harsh storyline. There was no room for humor in this one.
I think you had enough room. I think also part of the problem is that you took Taskmaster, who is an iconic villain in Marvel lore. And even in the Avengers Assemble animated series, voiced by Clancy Brown, because it's frickin' Clancy Brown, they made Taskmaster a much more formidable villain. This is a villain that people were like losing their mind over, right? So the fact that he's got like the shield, because Taskmaster is able to, observe, witness, and mimic and adapt to anyone's fighting style. So the idea of Taskmaster going up against someone like a Black Widow is a fascinating, by herself too, a fascinating, mano-a-mano kind of setup for an MCU fight. And then you could have had her teaming up with Yelena Belova to go against, but they really kind of buried Taskmaster as a villain. It's unfortunate. This is one of those wasted Marvel movie villains that unfortunately now we're not going to have a good Taskmaster. And
it's not a knock on the actresses. I mean, ScarJo, Florence Pugh, there's nothing the Pugh can't do. I love Florence Pugh as Yelena Belova. Big fan. And I like her in other movies too. It is not a knock on the actresses and their performance. I just found maybe, I don't know, the script was lacking, or it was a bit long, or maybe it was just long overdue, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few films that suffered greatly because they were ready to come out and then they couldn't come out, right? And then of course we had to watch it at home, and I appreciate all the the pain and suffering that goes on behind the scenes of making a film, and then you have something like that happen, and you can't really work around that. I think if people were able to experience this movie on a bigger screen, maybe it would have been, a bit more appreciated.
Maybe that was it, because we were robbed of that opportunity. We watched it at home, but even at that, we watch a lot of movies here. So I don't know. It's funny. It's not even like I'm advocating for more fighting scenes, because I tend to zone out for a good fight scene. I mean, even the beginning of the Avengers Age of Ultron,
Yes.
where it starts in a battle scene. That's the first scene of the movie. Even that tends to lose me, but even though I'll say it's my favorite of the Avengers movies, I don't like a good fight scene. I like story, and this one should have, checked all those boxes, but I don't know. It is not my favorite of the individual or the breakaway Avengers tales.
I think part of the problem too is that Marvel did a really, really good job with the MCU of genrefying some of their films, right? Like Iron Man is an action film. Thor, of course, is a very Shakespearean style epic. The first Captain America film was, almost like a throwback vintage war kind of film. And then future Captain America films were much more political thrillers as opposed to being, big action adventure films. I think we needed more of a proper spy movie. And maybe we get that somewhere down the road with Elena Belova. All right, I'm going to preface my past pick because this is one of those moments where I have to sit there and say, when we talk about films that have actors who have done less than honorable things in their personal lives, know that we are talking about the film in question and not the person. So with that said, I'm going to preface this by saying Bill Cosby.
Okay. The person or?
The person, yes.
Okay.
But I'm also still passing on a film that is on Wikipedia's list of worst films ever made. I'm talking about Leonard Part 6. Now, there is no Leonard's Part 1 through 5.
Are you passing because of Bill Cosby or because of the movie?
I'm passing because it's a pointless film.
Okay.
Like I remember this movie coming out when I was, a kid, right? It was in my early teens kind of thing. And there were some scenes in there where I'm just like, even at that age, I'm like, what the hell's going on here? Right? Like, it wasn't well done. It wasn't funny. The character setups and the surrounding characters around the character of Leonard are not good. Like, their raison d'etre is even the director has said in interviews that this film is a quote unquote terrible mistake.
Oh, that's harsh.
Right? Everything from the litany of frogs getting up as one and hopping a car into a pond and that apparently kills somebody to just the bad humor. The really, really bad humor. Like, who in their right mind okayed this film? I mean, I know who. It was Bill Cosby, because at that point in his career, he is like one of the biggest people in television. He's running his own production company. He's calling all the shots, and no one is telling him no.
For those who haven't seen it, what is the spy angle to this?
So he is a retired CIA agent, and they're bringing him in for one last mission. Like, he gets kind of roped into this mission. So he is a CIA operative, and that's about where the level of spy ends. And the problem, too, is that back in his early days when he was doing the I Spy TV series, he actually had a decent spy TV show that was eventually made into a less than stellar film. But the fact that this film is on the list of Wikipedia's worst movies ever. Like, there are films on this list that even I'm sitting there going, yeah, I don't disagree. Like, I will sit here and defend Madam Web for everything that is wrong with that film.
I actually kind of liked it.
That's why you're on this podcast.
Like, I really liked it.
But anyone who made fun of Madam Web needs to go and watch Leonard Part 6 and then personally call up Dakota Johnson and apologize for everything you ever said about any of her films. Because she's been in some bad films. And next, they need to call up Tommy Wiseau and praise him for his cinematic genius. And then they need to find whoever made like Birdemic Shock and Terror or Shock and Awe or whatever it is and apologize to them. And find the person who made Reefer Madness and apologize to their grave or whatever. Like, there are so many films on that list that I could sit there and still find something okay to say about it.
Do you want to apologize to Snoop Dogg for Soul Plane? Tom Arnold?
I will not.
No?
No. And I'm not apologizing. You should be apologizing to me.
Hey, I had a great nap. I don't know what you're talking about.
I know you did.
The arm is still numb.
I know. The feeling hasn't come back in my fingertips. All right, Carrie, thank you so much. Now, please remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and past picks are for spy movies.
Well, no need to spy on me because this is an obvious pick. I'm keeping Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I am watching Austin Powers and the Spy Who Shagged Me. And I'm passing on Black Widow. I'm sorry, ScarJo. I love you in every other Avengers movie as the Black Widow, except for this movie.
All right, I am keeping The Recruit. I am watching The Man Who Knew Too Little. And I am passing on Leonard Part 6. How did we do this episode without a single Mission Impossible film?
Because I haven't seen them.
Fair.
And The Bourne Identity, I know, because we had this conversation leading up to the record, and I'm like, so what actually makes it a spy movie? And you're like, you have all these to pick from. And I'm like, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen the Bond movies. I haven't seen...
Wait, you haven't seen a single Bond movie?
No, I haven't, no. No, because
we don't watch good movies around here.
My spy knowledge is lacking. I would fail spy school. Spy school. That should be like the next, like...
Starring Dean Cameron as a ski instructor / spy instructor?
Yeah, the next Asylum movie. Make it Spy School.
God. All right, dear listeners, thank you. And you guys know the drill. If there's a topic out there that you want us to cover on Keep, Watch, Pass, or a movie that you think is unfairly maligned, hit us up on social media at NotThatBadcast or go to our website at NotThatBadcast.com. Until next time, she's Carrie. I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep, Watch, Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.